I want to talk about willpower because this is a topic for me that I get a little bit riled about. There's so many books and people out there that talk about willpower, like don't rely on willpower, it's not enough, like it's useless, that if you try to use willpower that you're going to just fail, and kind of programs are like, oh, that you can do this without willpower, right? You can do this, you don't need willpower, you can just kind of, you use my system, you use my program, you can do this easy without having to kind of, I guess in a sense, choose. At the same time, willpower is our will, is our agency. In my mind, it's agency, and it's what we need to develop and learn from this problem. We need to learn how to use our willpower in the appropriate ways. Going back to the serenity prayer, we need to know when and how to apply that willpower so that we can have the most effect. Because if we're trying to use our willpower, our agency, to control things that we can't control, of course we're going to burn out and crash. But willpower is something that we can actually develop, that can grow, and that we need to build, because that's where, life is. We're putting off what we want now, the immediate gratification, for something that we want later on. Knowing how to apply that, how to kind of activate those parts of the brain of, I will do this, I won't do this, I want this, and learning to negotiate that with ourselves is really what willpower is about. Now, a lot of times I will use the example that willpower is kind of like the spark plug in the car, right? It gives a little bit of a boost to get us moving in the right direction or get things kind of going, and then we have to kind of use that discipline to kind of move it along, or have that choice to kind of step into a system or into a structure that we've built for ourselves, habits that we've built, or kind of again, the programs and stuff. But at the end of the day, all the other programs, when I've seen and read and looked into them, they also, even though they say without willpower, they do rely on willpower, because at some level, at some way, you have to choose to do their program, to do what they say, to kind of follow through with the thing. So again, the idea with willpower is we need it. We need to use our willpower, we need to be making choices, and we need to know when and how to most effectively and efficiently use this willpower. So some things that kind of help build willpower based on research and based on things is, if we're not taking care of our bodies, if we're not eating right regularly, if we're not exercising and decreasing our stress levels, if we're not sleeping well, all these things that have to do with our physical self is going to decrease or increase our willpower. So if you're not taking care of yourself, your reaction and your kind of tendency to fall into relapses or to be carried away by temptation is going to be higher than if you are taking care of yourself, you're exercising, you're sleeping well, you're eating well and healthy things, you're hydrated, those things. And I think a lot of programs also talk about this, that if you're hungry, tired, lonely, then you're more likely to kind of fall into a relapse. So doing those things and using your willpower to build in kind of those habits to be healthier will help your tendency to choose the right versus choosing temptation. And instead of relapsing, you're going to be more likely to be firm and strong, because you'll have more willpower, more motivation. Part of this too is the same thing that we've been working on the last few weeks, is focusing your efforts on why are you working on this. That question of why am I doing this? Why am I working on this? Where do I want to go? Helps increase your level of willpower, because it puts off what do I want right now, and the only focus being on what do I want right now with what do I want in the future. Where do I want to go, and what's more important for me long term than what I want right now? And activating that. What do I want then? What will I do then? And building that system up in the brain. Now, they have done studies that as we build this ability to choose the harder thing, to choose the longer thing, to sit and plan and wait, parts of our brain do develop. The parts of our brain that the people who do kind of long distance running, who are highly disciplined, who lose weight, like these kind of people who build these habits and build this willpower, have a part of their brain that is bigger and stronger because it's been developed that way. And so you can do the same thing. Choosing things every day, doing things every day that are harder, and making sure that you kind of push past that limit of, oh, I don't want to, because that I don't want to is sometimes what happens when we're faced with temptation. There's the choice, And we have to use our willpower to be like, do I want to go down this path for immediate gratification, immediate pleasure, or do I want to go the longer route for the things that will be more satisfying in the end, the things that will fill my bucket, the things that will leave and build my legacy? And we have to choose, what will I not do? And so doing that on smaller things or bigger things, or doing those things in other areas of your life is going to build that part of your brain. And making those decisions will help kind of be the reps that build that muscle, that willpower muscle. Just like any other muscle, though, if we're using that muscle and we're exercising that and we overextend ourselves, it might just start to give out, right? We run out of energy. Something to be noted here, and this again is in part of some of the research it talks about, is that our brains will send a signal that we're tired, that we're done, that we need to kind of just stop using up that energy, stop doing those reps, because it's like, oh, I want to save energy. I want to conserve the energy. I don't want to get too tired. And so the brain sends the signal saying, hey, slow down. Hey, why don't you just give up for a little bit? Why don't you just give in to certain things? Don't make these decisions, these hard decisions. I'm tired. Yeah. But if we push past that fatigue, that signal of fatigue, because it's not a real fatigue, we have enough energy in our bodies and our brains to be making these decisions consistently. We have more willpower than we think we do, than we feel we do. And I think this is something that we need to recognize, is that we can think through and push through. We have that will to be stronger and to go longer and to be making better decisions every day, and believing in ourselves that, hey, I have more willpower, I have more strength, I have more ability than I think I do. Going back to that serenity prayer, it's like, hey, where is this boundary of what do I need to give up on, and where can I have that courage to step up to the plate and consistently push through, to be indomitable, unbroken, kind of to get there. And we can do that if we believe in that. Believe in ourselves that we do have that ability to choose in every given moment, and remembering why we're doing it. Why are we fighting for this? Why are we pushing through these boundaries? Why am I making these choices now to avoid this pleasurable experience for something bigger and better and more hopeful? And so again, going into that vision and remembering that vision and making it very real to you personally will help build your willpower, will help build your motivation. And then as you practice making those decisions every day, that part of your brain will grow, and these decisions will be easier and easier because you'll be stronger and stronger. Mentally stronger, physically stronger because you'll be taking care of your body. And all of these things will be helpful for you. So believe that you have the willpower, you have the ability to choose, you have power over these things that you do have power over, and that you can make those decisions consistently. As you write today and as you reflect today, think about the times and the decisions that you can make better decisions, the times and things that you can do to build this power, this muscle in the brain to be more strong.